Welcome to the Preferred Walk-On Show. I'm your host, Seth Saunders, and just like that, week 6 of the college football season is upon us. And to help us get locked in this week, we have a phenomenal guest. He embodies everything Preferred Walk-On stands for: grit, hustle, and building something from nothing. He's a son of the Holy City, a former college baseball grinder, and now he is the best in the game at getting to the soul and the stories that make college baseball great. Helping us preview week 6, pencils up for the one and only Jack DeLongchamps. What's up, brother?
Man, one heck of an intro. I'm honored, my man. Let's go. Chucktown proud, but you had me tearing
That's
up
it.
with the pencils up comment. Let's go.
Yeah, let's go, man. Look, it's time to get fired up. We're like 48 hours out from week 6 of football. I know you've been enjoying it. You've been crisscrossing the country, hitting different campuses, taking everything in. Started the year at one of the bigger upsets of the season thus far, being in Tallahassee for Florida State, Alabama. Let's start with that, brother. Like, what have your thoughts been on this season so far? What has gotten you fired up about this 2025 college football season?
Yeah, it's cool. It's been a unique journey for me. For those that don't know, like the dream and aspirations of being a play-by-play broadcaster, not to say I've taken a detour, I've just gotten to tell stories in a different light in college football this season. So thanks to my friends over at Home Field Apparel, the Can't Miss Kickoff Tour. We've gone to some really cool environments and just kind of like wanted to touch and feel the culture that is college football, right? So Tallahassee was fantastic, was shocked by that upset last week.
Yeah.
Beauty of this craziness. With Virginia getting Florida State, and now obviously Alabama with their get back in Athens and continuing to hold a stranglehold, it feels like, on the entire city of Athens. But man, it's been great. I don't want to say chalk, but it's been cool to see your horses run away from it. It feels like up at the front, but a ton of surprises in that middle of the pack that it feels like anybody can get anybody on any given Saturday.
Doesn't it feel like, and I feel like you'll appreciate this too, because I think we're seeing it in college baseball, but the effect of the transfer portal and NIL allowing for roster parity across the country and making it, I think, less of a straight path for, say, the traditional blue buds who could kind of throw their weight around. And now you kind of have different programs that can foster talent, can offer playing time, offer resources, all these things. And, you look at the landscape this year, you got a program like Texas Tech or a program like Indiana or, just traditionally where you wouldn't be saying, oh, yeah, these guys are in the hunt here for the title.
Yeah. No, I think parity is probably the perfect word. We do live in a microwave society where everybody wants things instantaneous. I think that's a good and a bad thing. I think it's good for bad teams that all of a sudden can flip the roster, and with a little bit of community, they can rebuild and fire away in the very next season. And also you see teams that aren't able to build upon foundational pieces. I keep going back to that Florida State ball club, but what Mike Norvell was able to do in the portal and go get their type of guys, they got bigger up front. They went and got Vanderbilt offensive linemen, BCO linemen, and all of a sudden, like, they find their pieces that all of a sudden where they're better in the trenches, their weapons get to showcase their skill. And then all of a sudden, because you have the ability to go get guys that fit your program right away, parity is probably the perfect word for it. But man, it's crazy to see how quickly things can change as well.
Yeah, man, it's just, I think it just made things interesting because it's, we were talking about this last week and even with that Alabama-Georgia game where it used to be those two deeps were just ripe with talent that you knew eventually was going to play on Sunday. And now I feel like if one of your guys, even at a school like those two schools, can't go, the guy who's going to fill in maybe still needs some seasoning, maybe isn't quite up to that same level of talent that programs like that are used to. And so it makes for just a massive amount of unpredictability, which is why you have College Game Day in Tuscaloosa this weekend. Really less for Alabama and more because undefeated Vanderbilt is going there, which is just wild, man. And so it just makes for fantastic theater every Saturday, which is what we love, right? I mean, that's the best part about following the game and being a fan. So, well, let me ask you this. I want to talk games with you this week. We got 10 on the docket. Want to get your opinion on some of these. I would say, and my co-host and I talk about this is one of those weekends where if you have kind of a drive-by college football fan, they'd be like, yeah, well, not a lot of number sexiness on this board, not a lot of rank on rank, but man, I'll tell you, there's a lot of games on this slate I really, really like. And the first one we're going to talk about is one of them. Big 12 game, Iowa State heading to Cincinnati to play the Bearcats at Nippert. Noon start. Scott Satterfield's bunch, really solid football team. Brendan Sorsby playing quarterback there, good player. And then, man, one of our favorite players in the country, Rocco Beck. I just feel like that kid screams it. He's not going to be some guy that's like in the Heisman talk and all that, but God, I feel like all he does is win. So exciting group. Cool link here too. Matt Campbell and Scott Satterfield on the same staff together at Toledo in 09, so certainly familiar with each other. What are your thoughts on this game? Cincy is a 1.5-point home favorite, Iowa State undefeated and leading the Big 12 currently.
Yeah, it feels kind of like a breakaway game in the Big 12, like what separates the men and the boys. And obviously last year we didn't see that with 4 teams all bunched up at the very end. The 1.5 just tells me that Vegas loves your home squad here. To me, by the way, I want to make this clear. Has anyone ever gone 10-0 on these pick'ems?
Never.
It's happening this week. And Iowa State, Matt Campbell get things started for me week 1. 1-0 to start off the slate. The noon game's always frisky. You're going to have it on in the background. I will say this about these two teams. The Big 12 can't play defense. It's Swiss cheese. There's a whole lot of holes in the secondary. These two guys can strap it up. For me, I think Rocco is the difference maker. I'm with you. He feels like such a Cyclones quarterback. And I think Matt Campbell in these really tightly contested contests is a difference maker as a head coach. He just feels like he wins every year. And anytime it gets tight, you got to feel good with that guy on your sidelines with the headset on. So give me the Cyclones.
I love this pick. We talk often that Matt Campbell probably, out of everybody in the country, deserves more love for what he has done and what he has built in Ames. The other thing I think is interesting about this and why I like your pick, noon kick at Nippert, which I think kind of takes some of the edge out. Dude, if this was a night kick, especially like a Friday night kick at Cincy, oh boy, I would be real leery of the Bearcats. But I like this kickoff time for the Cyclones. Also, Iowa State only trailed for 28 seconds this entire season. So maybe the Bearcats get out ahead and give them a little trouble. But I like your pick with the Cyclones here. All right, next one on the docket, and I know you're very invested in this one. Hook 'em Horns headed to the swamp to play the Gators. Billy Napier's seat is hotter than the 4th of July in Charleston, brother. Ain't much gone right for the Gators all season long. Have not put up more than 17 points against an FBS opponent all year. 3rd in scoring offense, 107th in rushing offense, 5th in passing offense. Whereas on the other side, brother, that Longhorn defense is a haunted house for quarterbacks, all right? We're talking 10 different guys with sacks, 2nd best scoring defense in the country. Man, it just feels like it's going to be a long day to be a Gator fan. Where are you sitting on this?
Yeah, but I'm a traumatized Texas Longhorn fan, and I'm not one of those like Yankee, Lanker, Patriot Longhorn fans. My pops was a graduate of UT, and for me, I think there's been a lot of conversation about this football team, and I don't think that bye week could have come at a better time. Vibes are high. Clearly, things seem to be in between the ears for the young star quarterback that everyone can't stop talking about. But you're spot on, right? Like, you look at that Ohio State game and you get about as poor of a performance offensively as you can, and you still take the number 1 team to the country down to the wire. And it's because this defense could go down as, I don't want to say a 22 Georgia, but like, you're going to have NFL Pro Bowlers littered on that defensive line and in the secondary. But again, the conversation is going to be what happens on offense. Because I'm a traumatized Longhorn fan, if I were to tell you to take the 6.5 if you were a Gator fan, I do think that Texas likes to play with their food, man. Like, they'll get away to a big start. There'll be 2 defensive scores, defensive's cooking, and then in the 3rd quarter, they'll disappear. That 6.5 will get tight. I do think they run away with it in the 4th, though. Give me Texas 24-10 in Gainesville. I even got that one on the number for you. 24-10. Give me the hook 'em.
Well, I like this. I like that pick a lot. That's kind of where I have it situated too. I don't think Florida's offense will be able to get going. DJ Lagway hasn't been fully healthy, just hasn't looked right, man. Plus, I don't know. We talk about this a lot too. Not something you can quantify, but you know this from watching as much ball as you do. They just don't look like they really like each other, man. And like, I think that matters.
Yeah.
They just don't seem to kind of jive. That Texas team too, I think, is figuring it out. And I think as the season progresses, we're starting to see, and we saw it in Seattle last weekend, that Ohio State defense is real at all 3 levels. And so I am a firm believer that Arch will continue to progress, and Sark is one of the best, if not the best, in my opinion, play callers in the country. I just love how he designs and runs an offense. So, yeah, man, I like this pick a lot too. So I think it's going to be a good day to be a Horns fan. What, this is only the 5th time they've played in history? Is that right? Something like that?
I think I saw that too. It does feel weird with like how they were both blue bloods at the same time in the early 2000s that they never faced off again. You got obviously Florida and OU in that one national championship that Texas kind of gave away when they had Colt McCoy. But yeah, this will be fun, right? Like two great iconic brands. If you want to name, if you're hypothetically taking an anytime scorer, I think Parker Livingston is the X factor offensively, dude. Like big body cat, can really fly. And I think he's a dude that can take the top off the defense. And I think they're going to need him to kind of give some space, take the pressure off Arch, let him rip one downfield. I think Parker Livingston's your dude there.
We like a bet like that. So mark that on your cards, ladies and gents. Put that on the board. I dig that. We're all for that. All right, next one on the board, like we alluded to earlier, game day going to Tuscaloosa. And again, in my opinion, it's much more for Diego Pavia and the Doors than it is for Ty Simpson and the Tide, even coming off that big win in Athens last weekend. Super interesting game, I think, because of the number. All right, Bama, 10.5-point home favorite. Ty Simpson has looked outstanding. I mean, completing over 70% of his passes. Alabama, one of only the singular Power 4 team who has not turned the football over this year. They've got the 3-headed wide receiver monster with Jeremy Bernard, Ryan Williams, Isaiah Horton. And then you got Diego Pavia, man, which capital S swag with that guy. Like all he does is win. All he's done is bring attitude to Nashville in that program. And his favorite target tight end, Eli Stowers, too. So how you feel on this one? You think Vandy can keep it tight, or do you think the Tide runs away with this one?
It's just such a rat line, Seth. And the only question is, are you going to take the cheese and run with it? It is. You just don't know. Like, I do think it helps it not being a night game, and it's going to be the 3:30 kick. Can Vanderbilt control possession of the football? Like, that South Carolina game was so interesting because without Lenore Sellers, like, it didn't really feel very comparable. And to me, those two quarterbacks carry so much weight on their pressure that, like, you're going to need a Johnny Manziel-esque performance out of Pavia to go into Tuscaloosa like Money Manziel did over a decade ago. The only question is, do you believe that he can do it twice? He did it last year at home. Can he now go into the belly of the beast and knock him off twice? I don't think he can. I think this football team, I think Ty Simpson is severely underrated. I think he does exactly what they need him to do offensively. Ryan Williams is an interesting case where he hasn't really looked like himself yet. I'll take the Bama 10.5, but I don't know what they don't know because that feels like a pretty damn big line.
I agree, man. That number feels big. And like, to me, this kind of feels like a 10-ish point game, but I'm with you. Here's my thing about that Alabama team. Secondary is not really where I'm concerned with them. And I feel like that's what Vandy's going to look to exploit. You know, Georgia ran for 240 last week. Florida State put up 247 on them. I think the path to give them problems is you got to establish the run. And I don't know, man. I just don't know if Vandy can do that. We'll see. I could be 100% wrong about that, but I think if Bama is able to control the line of scrimmage and control clock, this is one of those deals where feels like it could get out of hand. And I don't know that Vandy is really situated to play from behind, because if you put Pavia in a spot where you know he's passing and there's not this threat of, can I pull it and run? That offense gets to be looking a little bit different. So, yeah, man, I don't know. I hate this number. This is one of those things where I would not put any real money on this, but yeah, I hate this number.
It's so funny. If it were like, if it was 6.5, I'd feel better about Vanderbilt, but it's 10. So I'm like, they must know something that I don't. Dare me to bet against the Crimson at home. Like, I'd be an idiot too.
Yeah, I have no feel generally for these kinds of things. And it's one of those things too, where week to week, I feel like maybe more so than any year I can remember, the 18 to 22-year-old kid moniker is very apt, right? You just don't know how these guys are going to respond week to week. And so Bama coming off the massive win, maybe they do feel a little bit deflated, because even though it's a ranked matchup, it's still Vandy, which I think we all quantify as like, oh yeah, it's Vandy.
For sure.
Even though it ain't your mama's Vandy, okay? So it's a different animal than it used to be. Good for Clark Lee righting that ship. Also, Vandy Point, Vandy's renovated stadium, will be the new home, this will have interest to you and to me, of the FCS national title game. starting in 2026, I believe.
That's a fun central
So,
place
yeah.
for it. I love that.
Heck yeah. I mean, Frisco's
That
cool and all, but tough to
Let's
beat
get the boys
Nashville.
in Nashville. Yeah, we get more of
That's it.
it'd be a unique aesthetic crowd, that's for sure. It'll be a blast.
Plus, I think, if I'm not mistaken, our alma maters may have faced off a couple weeks back. I think the Bucks and the Tribe faced off in college football
Well,
action. Am I right about?
We're
Am I thinking
yeah,
that right?
well, we're not gonna talk about the 31-7 beatdown. I don't think they played against each other. Yes, they did. It was bad. William and Mary's got that thing going. I was on the call last year when William and Mary came down to Chuck Southern and absolutely boat raced them. So yeah, you got your guy if you want to talk some FCS football, my man.
I'm all for that, man. We're trying to trumpet FCS football. My co-host went to JMU when they were still in the CAA, still at the FCS level. So yeah, man, we love FCS football. Fun fact about current FCS coach at Sacramento State, Brennan Marion. He was the offensive coordinator for Mike London at William and Mary. And then Howard
Oh,
before that, that's where the go-go offense originated, was at Howard.
shout out the go-go offense. Yeah, yeah, I love that.
I like the
Didn't know
go-go, man.
that.
Especially like when he comes out with the drip, the go-go chain drip. Like
Yeah,
yeah, A+.
all
They should
in,
sell that
all
in the
in.
merch shop out at Sac State.
I do have a hot take on the FCS champion this year. I do think he comes from the West Coast. Maybe not Sac State yet, but I do have my West Coast FCS champion pick so far.
Well, I like this. Can we save that for the FCS game of the week? Because I need all the intel on
I'll
that.
preview it. I'll preview it big time. Yeah, we'll tease it
I
now
love
and drop
that.
it later.
That's outstanding. All right, next one. You spoke about it earlier. UVA, Florida State last weekend. In a lot of ways, man, even as good as the Penn State-Oregon game was, even as good as the Georgia-Alabama game was, that UVA-Florida State game Friday night was electric, especially given the history, 30th anniversary of Florida State's first loss in the ACC, which your boy was in the house that night at Scott Stadium a long time
Yeah,
ago in 1995. Yeah. My dad and I were there on a Thursday night, rushed the field. I was 11 years old. It was outstanding. So,
that's awesome.
yeah. So it was cool. I texted my dad midday Friday and I go, how did we drop the ball on not like scoping this out and being back in the house for 30th anniversary? I am a long reformed, no longer.
Okay.
It caused me so much pain as a child, but my dad's still in the boat. But yeah, I told him we missed the boat on that. And dude, we really missed the boat now, given what the Cavs did on Friday night. But interesting ball club, right? Like, Chandler Morris looked phenomenal Friday night. Jamari Taylor is an absolute tank. Tony Elliott's offense scoring 45.6 a game. I mean, they are on fire. And then on the flip side, I feel like Louisville kind of just in the weeds, undefeated. Brian Brom got the boys playing well again. Miller Moss in tow. They take headlines last week because their ball boy gets attacked by Pitt, and then they
Dude.
score what, like 34 unanswered? Like, just awesome, right? The internet is undefeated.
Yeah, I love that guy's getting some pub too. I saw he's like making like the press rounds, like everyone's showing him some love. I didn't know how everyone was gonna like side after that kind of whole video goes viral as hell. I like to see that we're on the ball boys side. How did they win that football game though? Like I still don't know how Louisville won that game.
Dude, just like it was like an avalanche. Like it felt like watching that game. It's like, oh my God, Pitt is going to boat race them. And then out of nowhere, you see on the ticker and it's like, wait, Louisville's winning? Like, what
Dude,
happened?
it felt like the whole game they controlled it start to finish. I was all in on Pitt that game. I liked the spread and the money line. And I was just like, I turned it off to that first quarter. I was like, I got too many TVs. I don't even need that one. That one's over. Louisville, Cards Nation, that's on me, man. Congratulations. I hijinks the hell out of Pitt last week.
Well, dude, now this week, they're 6.5-point home favorite. And I think maybe more than any team in the country, UVA on letdown alert, right? But I do
Yeah.
think the Jimmies and Joes are a little bit different for Tony Elliott's squad this year. What do you think about this? You think the Cavs are real, or do you think Friday night was kind of a blip on the college football radar?
This feels like it's got massive ACC implications down the line, right? Like this is gonna be one of those games where you highlight and go, who's gonna get to go play in Charlotte? Do you believe in the hangover? I don't think I do. I'm all in on Tony Elliott's squad. Like, I don't think that was a fluke. I don't think that Florida State went in and played a bad football game. I think UVA went in and earned it. And to be frank, like, hand up, I didn't know a dang thing about UVA outside of playing the video game with them. Like, I just didn't know. That quarterback, I mean, he put the ball in danger so often, and to have the moxie to step back up in the pocket, take massive hits, and continue to deliver play after play, especially late in the clutch, man. Outside of it being the most dangerous, terrifying field storm in recent memory, I don't want to believe in a hangover. Like this is probably the game that I know least about, just from like an analytics standpoint. This is a bet with your heart. Like we just want UVA to be for real, don't we?
Oh man, I would love it. I think it's a great story. And if you're into to schedule forecasting, if you look at their slate after this game, brother, they got a pretty clear path to Charlotte if they just continue to take care of their business and stay healthy. They don't really face anybody at the top of the ACC map, and so it's there for them if they can take care of some business in Louisville on Saturday. I'm kind of with you, man. I think that's an outstanding point too, that this wasn't some, oh, Florida State screwed the pooch and everything went wrong and UVA kind of escaped with a win. Florida State played a very good football game. Like, I thought Castellanos had another fantastic game. I mean, that kid is a weapon. So,
Yeah.
and look, Deuce had a phenomenal game. It's the kind of didn't he catch the ball in the end zone type thing. But, I still think, to your point, UVA went and earned it. I mean, they took the game. And excellent point about the field storm. Has anyone checked on Squirrel White? Like, could we get a wellness check on Squirrel? I thought he got overrun in that corner.
Terrifying, man. I would have had to start swinging. Like, it's just a mosh pit from hell if you're on the losing side of that end, man. But yeah, I'm with you. Deuce Robinson, I don't know if he caught it, but he was a monster that entire football game. And Castellanos with a 91 QBR lead in the country. Like, I know some mistakes early on, but credit to UVA for capitalizing on those mistakes. But they turned the dang football over too, and that defense stood on their head when they had to. So this is a bet with your heart. Take the 6.5. Fun football number. I'm all in on the Cavs.
I'll tell you a quick story from the Thursday night game 30 years ago. Florida State was making their final drive. They're inside the 10, and Danny Cannell throws an incomplete pass, and UVA fans think it's the end of the game. So they rush the field. So there's like a 5 or 6 minute gap between second to last play of the game and Warwick Dunn's ultimate, did he hit the goal line? Did he not hit the goal line? Where they had to get everybody back off the field to then rush it again.
Did you run out there? Did you run out
there? Oh, not the first time. No. We were firmly planted in the stands the first time. We were trying not to curse anything, because normally the life as a UVA fan is, how will they screw this up? And that season had been a lot of that already. They had lost last second to Michigan. Texas walked them off with a Phil Dawson 50-yard field goal. And so we were just like, great, this is going to happen again. They're going to get last second lost. And so it was a fun night. So it was interesting to see the field storm, because that's what my dad and I were texting about. I was like, well, at least they waited till the actual last play this time. So all right, next one on the docket.
Sure.
Yeah. We're going to stay with an old ACC foe. We're going to go to College Park. Washington heading far east to play the undefeated Terps. Washington coming off a tough loss to Ohio State last weekend, but I will tell you, brother, there may not be a quarterback in the country I like better than Damon Williams Jr. I think he is outstanding. Yeah. I think he will only continue to get better, especially under Jed Fish's tutelage. And they have a bowling ball of a running back in Jonah Coleman, man. Like, I would not want to tackle that cat. On the flip side of that, Mike Locksley rolling out Malik Washington, who's also been fantastic. So I think this is could be a really, really fun matchup. Washington's 6.5-point road favorite. How you feel about this one?
I feel hesitant and cautious, because I feel like the entire country is going to jump on the jet lag and the time zones, and Maryland all over Wisconsin. I mean, they manhandled Wisconsin. And not only did Malik Washington look fantastic in that football game, but like, Wisconsin does not get manhandled in the trenches. And Maryland got whatever they wanted, whenever they wanted, moved the football 5 yards a pop on the ground, and they take the top off the defense with Malik Washington, the 5-star freshman's arm. With that being said, give me the points, and I think they outright win the football game in College Park. That is a school very similar to UVA, where like, you have to earn your fan base's trust back, and I think this is a great opportunity to do so. They teased you with the road win. Now you get to show them that you can win ball games at home, and I'm drinking the hype. I love the fact that the kids stayed home. I'm actually in the DC area now. I miss my Charleston folks, but my lovely girlfriend got an awesome sports job up here in DC, and she's actually gotten to talk with this team a little bit and has gone out and interviewed some of the guys. And like, there just feels like there's a different buzz and environment and atmosphere that's going on with this ball club. And I think it is the trust, like seeing what Malik Washington can do week in and week out. You go, hey, that's contagious to watch him make throws that they've never seen the quarterback position to make. Hell, feels like a decade ago they were running out like fifth string linebackers to run the Wildcat for him because they just couldn't figure it out. And I think this is a football team that's and a program that's on the rise. I'm drinking all the coffee, and I could be wrong because I'm sure that everyone in the country is going to bet with me here, but I'll take the 6.5. But I like the outright too.
I like this. I like this. What, Malik Washington, what, Glen Burnie kid? So local kid? Love
Yeah.
that.
Local kids stayed home, and I'm sure the collective up there makes sure to take care of them. But it's always cool to see the kids stay home and like talk about going to see games there when he was little. Like I'm a sucker for that story.
Yeah, I dig that. Plus, I hope he keeps progressing and makes it to the league so that every time he hits the highlight, SVP can drop a Hia Terp on him. Yeah.
Damn right.
All right, next one on the boat. This one's just interesting to me for a couple of reasons. Number one, like Dan Mullen leaves the booth, goes out to Vegas to coach this UNLV squad after Barry Odom goes to Purdue to coach the Boilermakers, takes UVA transfer Anthony Calandria with him, who has been just an absolute revelation for the Rebels. And then on the Wyoming side, I think this is less on the docket because of Wyoming, more about going to Laramie, tough place to play. Caden Anderson, a tough quarterback. They got a two-headed monster at running back and Samuel Harris and Sam Scott, the two Sams, making everybody scared. So, like, I just think this is a fun matchup, right? UNLV, 3.5-point road favorite. Dan Mullen trying to keep the boys undefeated. It's been fireworks. There's been no dull moments for the Rebels this season. How do you sit on this one?
All right, so not a lot of people know this, Seth. I actually lived in Laramie for a while. I helped run a baseball team, the Gem City Bison. Shout out to Aaron Nielsen and the squad. I went out there. It was like I wanted to get back into sports after I took a job out of college, and it was the perfect spot. Really, really small town. I have become wildly invested in this program. They were insanely good to us while we were out there. So I got to go see the locker room and went and ate everywhere that Josh Allen basically says is the best around. So I'm all in on this program. So again, very biased here, but I'll tell you what you should know. If you like Wyoming, parlay Wyoming with the under. And if you like UNLV, take the points in the over. Because this Wyoming football team is going to try to make this a really, really ugly game. And if they can create holes up front, and like you mentioned, that running back where like they're a really fun team to watch because it is mayhem, man. It doesn't matter if it's -20 or if it's sunny and 75 there. They like to do some drinking. It's homecoming weekend, I think, in my research to get ready for tonight. Love Wyoming in the points here. Love them in the points. And I know Dan Mullen's recruiting his tail off, and that casino money is rolled into the NIL collective, and they're probably a lot more talented. But let's get weird in Laramie one weekend.
I am so here for that pick. I could very much get behind the Cowboys in that pick, brother. Plus, let's just talk straight electricity on the helmets with the lasso and cowboy.
So
like,
sick.
come on. I mean, fantastic. Yeah, dude, I'm in on that pick. I like that a lot. Plus, man, they gave Utah all they wanted, and it's a good Utah team. So, yeah, man, I think Wyoming's real. That's why I think this is kind of an interesting matchup because obviously UNLV's been undefeated, but their margin's been very thin in a lot of these ball games. Man, I'm kind of with you, man. I think Cowboys can give them all that they want. All right, next one on the docket, Texas Tech heading to Houston to play Willie Fritz's boys with Connor Wegman at quarterback. Houston also undefeated, got by the skin of their teeth last Friday night to stay undefeated. Texas Tech coming off a massive win in Salt Lake City over the Utes. It sounds like Morton is going to be healthy for the game on Saturday, which if he wasn't, given what we saw against Utah, I think Texas Tech will be just fine. That defense looked outstanding. The offense, I thought, as the game progressed, got a lot more comfortable. 10.5-point favorites against Willie Fritz's bunch. Where do you sit on this one?
Yeah, this feels like another one. The 10 number always scares me away. Like,
Hmm.
it's either going to be a 30-point beatdown, or does Connor Wegman, the former Aggie, have a little bit of magic up his sleeve? Does the fact that his legs can truly be a weapon in this game, his ability to be dual threat? I do like their weapons on the outside. I just don't know if their defense can hold up here. It's a lot of points though at home, right? Like if I would feel silly if they were able to mess around and make it a game. I could see this being a clear cover, but in the case of a backdoor guy, give me Houston. I'll take him. I'll take the bait. I'm in.
This is interesting for a lot of reasons. My co-host and I talked in the preview episode for the Big 12 that we thought Houston was a good landing spot for Willie. I was a little
Yeah.
surprised that he left Tulane, but I mean, look, man, he can coach, he can recruit, and he can build a roster. And I think that's an interesting spot for him. But we didn't think this year would be his year. And then they race out to this 4-0 start, and you're like, well, I don't know, man. Maybe Willie's got it happening. The flip side of that is Texas Tech and the Matador Club have built a behemoth of a defensive roster. I hand up was completely wrong about what I thought would happen when they went and played Utah. I thought that would be a super tight game. I thought Devin Dampier would be the X factor and be the difference. And man, Texas Tech just beat them up all day long. I was just so impressed. And how can you not like Joey McGuire too, right? Like high school coach in Texas, coaching Texas Tech because he sent a letter into the school and said, I should get this job. Like, give me that all day, baby. I love that. Yeah, this is a fun game, man. I hate this number, though.
I hate it, dude. Again, it's the exact opposite of the Bama Vandy line. If it was 17.5 for Texas Tech, it'd literally make me feel better about taking the Raiders. But
Yeah.
I took a page out of the Stanford Steve and SVP playbook. I played a lot of NCAA video games to get ready for this Texas Tech team, and you just go, wow, they're so much faster than pretty much everybody. And you see
Yeah.
that defensively, the way they get sideline to sideline, especially at the secondary level when it comes to our linebackers. Houston's going to have to get really creative, and it's going to have to get weird for them to even just stick around. I still hate the number. I'll take the points at home just because I feel like I have to, but I don't like it. I don't feel good. If I go 9-1, this is the game that messes it up.
Yeah. All right. We'll put a star by this one.
Yeah.
We'll put a star by this. Yeah.
I
Yeah. I
hate
feel
it.
that. Well, gosh, the TV networks are probably just distraught that UVA upended Florida State last weekend because this had shaped up to be kind of the game of the early season. Miami going to Tallahassee to play the Noles. You know, the Noles up in Bama, and the TV networks are licking their chops, baby. Carson Beck and undefeated Miami are coming to play the Noles at Doak. Everybody's going to be chopping. It's going to be absolutely fantastic. A little bit of the luster off, but man, I'm still really compelled by this game because Florida State's real, I think. UVA result withstanding, I really like that roster and that ball club. And I just think when you have a quarterback, you got everything you need. And I'm a believer in Tommy C. Like, I think he's a really, really good player. The flip side of that, dude, this Miami team play really good defense, really good along the offensive line. Carson Beck, if you can keep him clean, is a different quarterback than he is if you can get pressure on him. And then, man, CJ Daniels, Malachi Toney, they got weapons on the edge, brother. So a lot of interesting characters in this ball game. How do you feel about this? Miami 4.5-point favorite going into Doak on Saturday night.
I think admittedly, I think not that I checked out, but when Miami beat Notre Dame to start this season off, you go, okay, cool. But I still need to see more from Miami. And I think Carson Beck with the pedigree and his ability to just get the ball out of their hand in and out of 2.5 seconds. That's been their whole mantra is get it and go. They got weapons on the outside that we know this, but it's a lot of points at home. And I am a believer in this Knowles team. I think it's so cool. You watch these dudes' career, and we talk so much about the perils of the portal and how it's kind of changing the game that we love. But for a guy like Thomas Cassiano, who went from a Houston Texans fan, a Bill O'Brien offense, so now to
Yeah.
get in year one to have almost a full calendar slate with Gus Malzahn, what a home run hire by Mark Norvell to get Malzahn to come in. And then all of a sudden, it may have just resurrected his career and given this guy a real shot to play at the NFL level despite his size and playing with a chip on his shoulder. What they're able to do, I think, is really creative. And I don't think that slows down now. I think that this is another fun one. I'll take the points. Give me them outright. I'm all in. The new stadium is gorgeous. I'm drinking all of the Kool-Aid down Tallahassee. Give me the Noles.
Yeah, so tell me this. I do want to hear about this. I've not been to Tallahassee. My older brother is a monster Florida State fan, has been for
Cool.
decades and decades. He's back all the way to the Neon Dion days. Like, brother, he
That's
wore
awesome.
Dion's cleats in high school. Like, that's how far
That's
back we go
great.
on this. Yeah, so he loves the Noles. How was the time in Tallahassee? How was Doak? How awesome was that atmosphere in person?
I mean, dude, you could tell that, like, after what they endured. I mean, you're talking about probably a football program that has never experienced 16-month span that they ever had before. They're
Mm-hmm.
knocking on the door of getting into the playoff. Your quarterback tears the ACL. They're left out undefeated, and then they go 2-10, with one of those losses being to my alma mater, Charleston Southern. So it's really 1-9 or 1-10, excuse me. I just think that you could feel this very nervous energy, and it didn't phase Norvell or Castellanos at all. So when Alabama comes down and puts up 7, you can feel the entire stadium, all of Doak going, like, here we go. Like, here we go.
Yeah.
Just keep it close against the Tide. And then it happened. And the renovations they made, like, shout out to Michael Alford and that athletic department for going all in, like all in. They remove seats. They bet on themselves about like leveling up the experience as a fan. And it was really cool to like, I mean, there's not a bad seat in that house, and it was awesome, man. We did storm the field as well, 28 years old, zero affiliation to the school, and now I feel like a Knoll for life. So I did storm, and I don't regret it for 1 second. And that's probably why I'm taking him this week,
You
too.
shouldn't. Yeah, you should not regret it. That's outstanding. Also, how like arm on your or hair on your arm stand up moment was it when Renegade comes in the stadium and they plant the spear?
So we were fortunate enough, gotten to do a lot of baseball work with Link Jarrett, and that's another conversation for another day. But so to be on the field for the helicopter flyover, Renegade comes rolling out, the chop, when it's chopping, I don't think that there's anything like it in sports. It's silly. Oh man, it was sick. Very, very sick.
Yeah, I love that. I'm so glad you got to have that experience. That's so cool. My brother said it's just, dude, it's like one of the
You
best.
gotta go. Yeah, you gotta go. Like, and I think too, like South Carolina fans get it. It rocks, right? It's about as easy of an opening that you get in college sports. But then usually when kickoff starts, like it all goes downhill from there.
Yeah,
I'd pay $100 just to get in the stadium to go see Renegade again. Like, if go 2-10, I don't care. Renegade's the coolest.
yeah, yeah. Oh, that's awesome. That's awesome. All right. Well, last FBS game on the docket, Mississippi State and the Fighting Cowbells heading to College Station to play Texas A&M. Mike Elko's boys have been tough this year. Big win under the guys of Touchdown Jesus in South Bend, and then come back hard-fought win against Auburn, winning both ways, right? Scoring points one weekend, the next weekend, or 2 weekends later, doing it with defense. Texas A&M, though, 14.5-point home favorite at Kyle Field over a very, very spicy Bulldog team. How do you feel about this?
This is a dirty line, and I can tell by your face you don't like it either. It's a dirty
I
line.
don't.
Because what are we doing here?
Yes.
Again, they're playing us, and I'm okay with that. Here's what I'll tell you about this A&M team. Watching how Tim Elko, shout out to baseball. Watching Coach Elko do his thing, I think is funny because he comes back to A&M after being the DC there for so long, and you knew it meant so much to him. So for him to start ribbing with the media like he did last week, kind of throwing shots at Brian Kelly with the, would you guys just smile a little bit? I think it's cool. Like he feels so comfortable there. And this is an A&M fan base that, again, I joke about being traumatized, but like they just keep waiting for the slip up. And it doesn't feel like it's coming. And I'll tell you why. I am a massive believer in Marcel Reed. I think he's
Yeah.
just got it. Like, I think he's just got
Mhm.
it. He's got the nads in crunch time. That throw against Notre Dame was, it's right. They build statues for plays like that, especially at a place like Kyle. So I despise the hell out of this line because we're going to learn a lot about Mississippi State, right? Like, hey,
Yeah.
the win against Arizona State, huge late. Now they dropped one late in the game against Tennessee that they probably felt like they should have won.
Yep.
Do you have the ability to respond this week? 14.5 is a dirty number. I wish it was a better football number and it was 13.5. If you wanted to buy it down hypothetically, you should do that. I'll take I'll take Mississippi State. Keep it close. Backdoor cover for us, folks. I think they respond well. The Cowbells and Kyle will probably get your tail kicked, but I'm all in.
I mean, I feel like Blake Shapen and the boys can keep it tight. Like, dude, 15.5 it's a massive number. Now, look,
maybe
the flip side of that is you bring up an outstanding point. Like, Marcel Reed is must-see TV, okay? So that is completely fair. And then it's not just him, right? Like, you got Casey Concepcion on one side, and you got Mario Craver on the other side. Like, if you blink, they could have popped a touchdown. Like, they're just, dude, they could be mile a minute if they wanted to be. But that's what I think is so fascinating about that Auburn win is they kind of did it in a different way, right? It was kind of like, hey, look, we're just going to grind this thing out. And we can kind of win left-handed. And so, man, they get more and more interesting to me each week because Elko seems like one of those guys like, look, man, if you can win in Durham, North Carolina, you know how to coach. And so I think he's in a spot with resources and with a fan base that obviously wants it. And so, yeah, but you're right. They do have like the impending, where is the banana peel going to come?
Yeah.
And like, they've got to get past that. And so, yeah, this is one of those games where you kind of got to come out. If we're one of the teams that's fighting for this thing, we got to assert our dominance and like plant the flag a little bit. So, yeah, but I loathe this number.
Yeah, dude, it's dirty. It's dirty work.
All right, this has become our favorite segment of the week, and that is the FCS game of the week. And North Dakota State, who we have termed, I think justifiably in every way, shape, and form, the Alabama of FCS. I mean, they have absolutely dominated the FCS championship picture for the last 15 years. And they've done it with 4 different head coaches. I mean, that Bison program is unbelievable. Heading to Normal to play the Fighting Redbirds of Illinois State, who are 6th in the country this year. This is always an interesting exercise, trying to find lines for the FCS game of the week. But I looked multiple places. Yeah, I looked multiple places, and they all tracked the same spot. They were all within like a point of each other. Brother, North Dakota State, 24.5-point favorite going to Normal. I mean, Rodney Dangerfield all day. No respect for the Redbirds, brother. Just unbelievable. I will say, I was at the Citadel covering the season opener for this reason, to see North Dakota State live and in person. And Bryce Lance is the showstopper, right? Like, he is the guy who's going to play on Sundays. He's averaging 22 and a half yards a catch. But for me, man, that Cole Payton playing quarterback, lefty kid, just wants to punch you in the mouth, like super tough. I don't know, man. I like them a lot, and that defense is tough. But Tommy Rittenhouse and the Redbirds got something to say about it. So where you sit on this?
Well, you know how we feel about FCS football. It was 2016 when Charleston Southern got the very first game of the college football slate. It was Bobby Ruff, Troy McGowan's and the boys, and they went out there with the reigning #1 defense in the country, and they take North Dakota State to double overtime, and they lose the game. And it was like winning the Super Bowl just because you did that on ESPN. It was Charleston Southern. It was huge. Normal, Illinois. Shout out to the Redbirds. Broadcasted some basketball with them last year. Mick Tadreau, my homie, is going to be on the call for this one. Let's be very, very clear here. It's going to be a whiteout. It's going to be electric. Don't you dare ever take against the Bison, though. It could be 45 points, and I'd have no problem handing my money over to go. I have no problem losing on this team because whatever they know, I'm in. North Dakota State is a wagon. Now, from a pronunciation standpoint, as someone who prides myself in it, hit me with the starting running back. Do you know North Dakota State?
No chance I can attack that.
Dude, I tried earlier. I pulled this up. I'm telling you, I tried to do my homework so I could be ready to go. Barika Capinu. And I'm so sorry to the Capino family if I brutalize him.
That's outstanding. Really good.
It's pretty good. Pretty good. Not bad.
That was pretty good.
7 tuggers, 75 on the ground. You're right. We got an NFL receiver, but man, he's a bruiser. Kind of really fun blend of power and speed because I did watch that Citadel game as well, too. And that is the only time I've watched the Bison this year, but I really liked him a ton. And yeah, North Dakota State, the number is gigantic. Rodney Dangerfield line, magical, but there's a reason that line is that big. I know it's 1 versus 6, but if you're new to the FCS world, which I know your listeners are not, y'all know why. They're a wagon.
Dude, let me tell you something. The line the Citadel week was 30.5.
Yeah.
And I was drinking all the Citadel Bulldog Kool-Aid. I had been on campus. We did our Friday night show from Hey Good. Like, it was magic, right? I'm like, dude, they'll cover that number. Defense looks good, and defense comes out first quarter. They're looking fantastic. And then, man, it was just like Coach Boone's line in Remember the Titans. Just like Novocaine, give it time, it's going to work. And the Bison just stampeded all up and down the peninsula for the rest of the day. I will tell you this, though. I had a ton of respect for that program. After the ball game, Citadel does, the whole team goes over, sings the alma mater with the cadets, and then they do retiring of the colors. Whole entire
That's
North
cool.
Dakota State team, coaching staff, training staff, all stayed on the field for all of it. So I thought that was classy, man. Felt like they get it. And so
They do,
that
man.
was cool.
They operate on a different level, right? Like, even when you see them and they roll in, they get off the bus and they've got like the 6 different trailers, and you're like, it was over before it started.
Different animal. And they traveled too. There was a lot of green and gold in the stands that day. So yeah. Interesting note though, from my side, if there's going to be any bias, my father-in-law, proud Redbird, proud graduate of Illinois State.
Let's go.
So I'm rooting for his boys.
Yeah.
However, I am kind of with you. I have learned my lesson. They burned me week 1. I just can't pick against the Bison. They are an absolute man. They are tough.
Yeah,
Tough.
this isn't even Alabama football though, man. This is like almost greater than UConn women's basketball. This run is it's legendary. So I ain't touching it. I'd love to be wrong. It'd be awesome for Illinois State to go pull it off, but I will not be on the other end of that stick.
We have talked. We're putting together a list of like bucket list like games that we want to do, and so we want to do North Dakota State, South Dakota State, Montana State. I really want to do Idaho, Montana. Like, Jack, let's talk about this, okay? In the pantheon of rivalry trinkets / trophies, is there much better than being awarded a supersized brown stein when you win the football game that you can fill up maybe with a frothy beverage of your choice?
It's not the Red River. It's not the Iron Bowl. It's not quite Army Navy. I'm with you. Das Boot.
Outstanding, man. I just think it's so good. So yeah, FCS football is the best. People do not put enough capital R respect on FCS. So I love that you came prepared for that pick, my man. That's how I knew you were right for this show.
Come on. And I even have this is my bonus pick. If you want a fun sprinkle, and they're a top 10 team, so it's not like they're sneaking up on anybody. I think UC Davis has enough to win it all this year. They could take down North Dakota State. I was all in on that UC Davis Mercer game before it got canceled with lightning.
Yeah.
That's a fun ball club. I think that they've got enough to make a deep run. Again, I'm not going to say overtake North Dakota State, but just even getting there feels like just a good enough accomplishment these days. So yeah, that's it's my sleeper FCS championship pick for you.
I like that a lot. Well, look, I can't let you go without us shouting out South Carolina's Presbyterian Blue Hose. For the first time, I think, ever as an FCS program, ranked in the top 25 now after a 5-0 start.
Are they really? I didn't even see that. That's awesome.
Yeah. They, I got to tell you, I would love, and if their equipment folks are watching and they want to send us a full-size PC helmet with the Fighting Scotsman on the side, I'm just saying, I'd be delighted to have it sit right here behind me.
We can make that happen. I got some connections up in Clinton, South Carolina. Yeah. Shout out to I'll just take the hose shirt, please. Yeah, you have the helmet.
Yeah, I like that too, man. Just so like, that's just my favorite part is programs like that. And what? They're in the Pioneer, which the Pioneer goes from coast to coast, which is just crazy. A USD is part of the Pioneer Conference playing Presbyterian, like crazy.
You're talking about a travel, like one trip for an in-conference game, and you're looking at like potentially an entire budget for some of their Olympic sports. I don't know how they're able to pull that off.
Dude, I don't either. But I'm all in on the Blue Hose. They got some love on SportsCenter a couple weeks ago, and I just started dying laughing. I was like, this is fantastic. Good for them. Good for PC, baby.
That's
Well, look,
awesome.
brother, I'm so glad you came on. So glad we got to hang out and talk ball. Please, please, please tell our listeners how they can follow you and support you.
No, I appreciate that, man. Yeah, Jack DeLongchamps on Twitter and Instagram, operate and run the Pencil Talk Pod. So instead of a microphone, we use a pencil. So on all streaming platforms. But dude, the pleasure is all mine. I really appreciate it, and glad we could connect, my man. Looking forward to doing it again.
Yeah, man. Well, we'll have you back soon, and continue success, brother.
Boom! Let's go.